Hello and welcome back to Necromancer, and we're here at one of the last standing towns of the final faction we must eliminate before we achieve total domination over the land. And, well, here's the thing. We have a bit of a tough situation on our hands here. I'm wondering whether I should decide to even stay here at this point. Because obviously I had begun my bombardment of the walls, as you do, you know, as you do. And now there's a very large army very close to us, and I'm a bit worried about it. So I'm actually not entirely sure what we're going to do, but, well, we don't need to worry about that just yet, because we do have a perk to spend, and that is exactly what we're going to do. We're going to be spending it on Leader of the Masses, in my opinion. I feel like that's probably going to be pretty good for us, isn't it? Yes, I think that is going to be pretty helpful if I can actually get the units that I need to, you know, expand my own army size. But yeah, here's the thing. We have Selena. She is attempting to murder us. I'm not entirely sure what her composition is like, even though I've taken a look at it beforehand. There are so many different units, and I'm not entirely sure about a number of them in terms of their stats, but from what I can tell, she has a massive army of infantry mostly. You can see here that she has 67 Empire Greatswords and also 75 Empire Halberdiers, as well as, of course, a couple of Knights of the Inner Circle, as well as Reichsguard Preceptor Knights of the Inner Circle. Yeah. Those fellows, they're going to be pretty harsh to deal with. So I'm going to just allow her to engage upon us. Boom. And now we're going to see how we do here, because I could have run away. Don't get me wrong, I easily could have run away in this situation, but I thought to myself, you know what? Maybe we need a bit of a challenge, because maybe the last couple of fights that we've had have not been that difficult. Not entirely sure about that, because I feel like we've had a number of instances where we've actually had some pretty difficult situations, and we've only gotten out of it due to a number of other reasons. You need to have at least one more formation of this type to change this formation's... What? Okay, wait a minute. Okay, that was weird. That has not happened to me before. Oh well, never mind. Anyway, this is going to be pretty interesting. If I can actually achieve victory here, then I think we will have done a pretty nice job getting used to the magic systems, a pretty nice job getting used to the whole atmosphere of the mod, and I might have graduated from being a little bit more than an imbecile, and a little bit, well, shall we say, a little bit more proficient at what we need to do to win the battle. So let me actually just see what's going on here. I'm gonna tell my forces to go and auto-delegate. I'm gonna tell my companions to auto-delegate. Ooh, this is gonna be a bit tricky. Okay, something like this, I think. Okay, that seems to have worked out actually much better than anticipated. Very nice, I like it. But now the enemy is still actually charging at us straight away. Oh, no, no. Well. Well, that's... I mean, that's pretty bad, right? That's pretty bad. Okay, I'm gonna retreat here real fast, because on the one hand we have actually murdered a huge amount of enemies, but on the other hand now we are in a situation. I am infinitely irritated right now, thanks to that wonderful headshot. See, now this is the reason why when I get questions like, why are you playing on half damage or whatever, I always think to myself, well, this is partially the reason, because this was a stray arrow. I was riding pretty fast, all things considered, you know, I was riding pretty fast. Might possibly be enough to allow me to avoid regular projectiles, but apparently that guy had my number, whoever it was. I have no idea who it was that murdered me, but yeah, he was able to get a lucky shot through the neck of Arcane, and that allowed him to eliminate us. But yeah, that's the reason why I think to myself, you know what, maybe it's a better idea for me to just play on those lower difficulties, because it just makes so much more sense. Because if I'm gonna get, I mean, technically I probably would have, I mean, maybe if it was on half damage, I wouldn't have died. I mean, maybe I would have still died, actually. I'm not entirely sure. I mean, it would have been okay, I guess, but there's really no use in even talking about it at this point, because in general, if you're going to get shot through the neck, it's most likely you're going to die anyway. And if we want realism, obviously this is really not the mod to be talking about realism, because we're running around with a bunch of vampires and skeletons and so on and so forth. But if you want realism, then obviously there you have it. We pretty much sustained one of the most grievous wounds that one can sustain, and got murdered almost instantaneously, which was really pretty sad, because I thought that fight was actually going to be super fun, but unfortunately, yeah, we got a little bit murdered right there. Anyway, let's just see if I can do a little bit more here. Not too bad. I feel like the damage that I was able to do in that fight was also very impressive, if I can toot my own horn a little bit. I felt like I actually did much better than usual. And I'm not sure whether that's saying something, but yeah, I was pretty proud of how many kills we were able to get with one Wind of Death. Did you see that? I think I got, what was it, 125 kills or something like that, with just one spell. That's pretty amazing. So I think I definitely had the good angles going on there, definitely helping me quite a significant amount. And we're going to tell my forces just to go for an auto-delegate here. I'm going to go for another Wind of Death as well. I've actually thought to myself, maybe it's a good idea for me to not even bother with Withering Wave at this point. You know, maybe it's a better idea for me to just concentrate on using, well, obviously Petty Heal for the most part as well, because Petty Heal is very useful. But maybe it's a good idea for me to just concentrate on Wind of Death and the positioning for that. Because as it stands right now, I mean, you've seen how much damage we've been able to do so far, and I've only used Wind of Death. So it's pretty good, you know? I mean, obviously it's much more directed damage, because Withering Wave is a little bit random in the way that it moves, and the way that the enemies move, and so on and so forth, but you can direct the Wind of Death a little bit better. So, I don't know. Maybe it's a good idea for me to use 3 Winds of Death rather than just 2. Maybe it is. I'm not sure. I'm not sure really about that. I mean, it depends, I suppose. It depends on the angle of usage. It depends on how many units are in the path when it's cast, and so on and so forth. Look at that, 663 damage. Pretty incredible. I think that seems to be about it, and victory is ours against a very small, well, I say small, but he had a pretty significant army, but, well, obviously before us and our 2 vassal compatriots who are, of course, in my army, I decided to call for a couple of extra people to help us out here and there. And we are going to be taking him prisoner. Basically, I'm going to be taking every single person that I can prisoner. And we also have the ability to now take more and more of these skeletons. Of course, these are not really going to be super amazingly useful, but they are going to be pretty good in my opinion. So let me see what I can do here. We're going to take the armor. Oh yeah, someone actually mentioned that they were getting, what was it now? I think you said something like you were getting frustrated over the fact that I wasn't upgrading my units and then also donating the loot that we gained. So for example, I would upgrade my units on the previous screen, and then I would donate my weapons after that. Obviously that's the way that it goes. Now here's the thing. You actually don't need to worry about that, because the only time that is going to be detrimental is if you see this text in red. You see? If you see this text in red, then that means it's capped out, and that means it cannot provide experience to any additional units in your party. And I've only seen that happen very sparsely, And also, I've only seen that happen when you have both donation perks. If you have both donation perks, then it's more likely you're going to get a capped out experience gain from the donation. But you can see here, from the tooltip actually, it says they can gain a maximum of 354,000 experience. Yeah. So that is the cap which we are working with right now. So me leveling up my units before or after, it doesn't really make any difference, in my opinion at least. Obviously, if you want to do things differently, then by all means, go ahead and do that. But for me specifically, it just does not make any difference at all. If I'm going to lose a battle because I don't upgrade 15 or 20 or even 40, 50, 60 units, I'm going to lose that battle anyway. Because unless I'm literally dealing with tier 1 units and I'm leveling these units all the way up to tier 4 or tier 5 or tier 6 or even tier 7 in this mod, then yeah, that's going to make a big difference. But from one tier to the next, not so much. At least that's from my perspective. You may disagree, but that's my personal opinion there. Anyway, let me see what I can do at the town again. Maybe Selena is going to appear once more, but I'm willing to give it a go. Let's do this, and let's see what I can do here. I'm going to go for a nice amount of trebuchets. You can see here that we're building the siege camp really, really fast as well, because we do have those additional vassals helping us out. Ah, there she is. Ah, fantastic. Yes, can we run? I was a bit worried there for a second. I thought to myself, why are we slowing down? Now, that was just due to the disorganized status, no doubt. And we now have someone else doing some wonderful, wonderful things by capturing stuff, which is always nice. Okay, let me see here. Gonna just lock Boris into our prisoner's hold. Very good. And I'm just going to go ahead and sell all of the stuff that we gained already, because we actually gained a pretty, not too bad, just a quick 21,000 from that fight with Boris. Pretty good. And we are probably just going to be moving back this way. I'm actually wondering whether we can even, I think we can probably tackle Selena, right? I think we can probably deal with her. Alright, so we're giving this one more go, and if I'm unable to do anything here against Selena again due to a wonderful shot through the neck, then I'm probably going to be relocating myself and trying to get to a different place on the map and seeing if I can maybe make a bit of a difference there instead. I feel like that sounds like a good idea. Anyway, let me see what I can do here. Not bad. Not bad. We got 59, actually. 59, that's pretty good. That's not too bad. I feel like it could have been better. Definitely could have been better, but obviously at this point, we are basically thinking to ourselves, how best can I murder all of our opponents? You know, that's basically what we're thinking of right now, almost all the time. And I think if you have that kind of luxury, because that's pretty luxurious thinking if you think about it, you know, it's instead of thinking, you know, how are we going to survive this encounter? It's thinking, how can we maximize the amount of damage we can deal? You know, so it's a little bit, a little bit more freeing, I suppose you could call it. Is that guy literally using a? He was literally using a rifle on a horse, and he was attempting to shoot me point blank in the face. That would have been pretty funny. Okay, let me see if I can do something here. Oh, this is a nice lineup. Not bad, not bad. Okay. Should we go for a Withering Wave? Should I summon some skeletons? I'm actually not entirely sure. I guess I will just summon some skeletons. And then we'll just sell? No, we will not sell, but we will send everyone in, and we will see what we can do about that. Oh, that was close. Okay, that was a bit too risky for my liking, but it paid off, amazingly enough. Wouldn't have expected that in a million years, to be able to beat someone that has a polearm such as that. I mean, a very, very long polearm. And we were able to beat them in a battle of reach, which is pretty crazy. I wouldn't have expected that. They have a huge amount of cavalry. They really do. That is kind of frightening, if you think about it. Okay, don't kill my horse, please. I very much appreciate it. Oh, it's funny how they just stopped doing damage to my horse all of a sudden. Ah, yes. Okay. Yeah, I'm just very much hoping that we're not going to lose this, because this is actually the only horse of this kind that I have in my inventory at the moment. So even if this one dies or becomes lame or something like that, I will not be able to replace it. Which is very strange. Usually I would have a replacement, but I do not. And I think I can probably... Yep, I can just speed things up, and it's all good. There we go. So we were able to achieve victory against Selena here, and that's exactly what I was talking about, you know? Being able to stay alive, and I did much less damage this time as well. I mean, look at that. We literally only killed 103 units, which I gotta say is very, very disappointing. Oh yes, I'm disappointed in myself for such a low body count, but... That's only due to these spells, you know? It's only due to my use of spells. And that's exactly what I was talking about before with maximizing damage rather than concentrating on survival, you know? At the beginning of the game, you're always going to be concentrating on survival. You're going to be concentrating on, well, still being able to do a significant amount of damage, but obviously you need to make it so that you actually survive the encounter, because if you are able to eliminate 99% of the enemy, but then you fall at the last hurdle, that's still a defeat in the eyes of the game. And obviously they are going to take you prisoner at that point. I have had that happen numerous times, let's not speak of it, but yes, that is what can happen, and I was generally just trying to avoid that, if at all possible, in the early game at least. Nowadays, it's all about murder. Oh, yes. And look at this. Ooh, 80,000 experience. Ooh, yeah. That is just because we did so much damage and my forces, my own units, were able to get so many kills because we now have a much greater share of the loot in comparison to how it has been in the past, where we haven't really been given a significant amount of the share, at least. So yeah, another 80,000 for us right there. Look at that, 80,000 experience. Pretty crazy. And I can only imagine how much it would have been if I had literally just gained the other perk, you know. I know some people said at the time that it was a mistake for me not to take the donation perk, but it doesn't really matter, you know. All things considered, my forces are leveling up relatively swiftly as it is, and I'm pretty happy with how things are going right now. So let's take a look. Oh, I'm actually on the voting. Look at this. Interesting. I have no idea what this is. What is Grenstadt? What is that? Is that a town? No. It is. Is it? It's got 2,000 prosperity. It has 17 loyalty. Yeah, no thanks. I'm not gonna take that. I would prefer someone else to take that, and hopefully they'll do a good job of looking after it. I think I have a decent amount of towns as it is. Even if it is a town, I'm not that big a... You know, I'm not that greedy about it. Ah, it is, yeah, look at that. It is indeed a town. Very cool. It's super nice that we were actually able to take that really early on in our conflict with this last faction, because I was saying in the previous episode that it would probably be advantageous for us to take that particular fief, because I was a bit worried that enemies would launch attacks from there deep into our territory, and it seems like they have put pay to that, so that's actually really nice. Anyway, let's sell all of this. Another 68,000. Okay, I think the best thing that I can probably do right now is actually start a couple of... Oh, you know what? I can't do any more... Can I? I can't do any more caravans, or shall we say companions. I actually wanted to get some caravans up and running, but obviously does it even matter? You know, does it even matter at this point? I mean, generally I could get Mr. Faustus here. I could get him to join us, but I don't know whether I have enough space for more companions. I think I do. Yeah, I have 3 more spaces for companions, and I have 1 more space for a party. But do I really want to transform these into a caravan? Do I really want to sacrifice? I mean, technically, it would be kind of a sacrifice at this point in the game to make a companion into a caravan master rather than a party leader or something else that can actually be relatively good to assist us, you know? So, I don't know. I feel like making them into a caravan would probably be a bit of a waste because we have so much money as it is. We don't really need it, right? We don't really need the income or anything like that. So, yeah, I think that's fine. Anyway, we have 2 perks to spend. Let's see what we can go for here. Oh, I think this is an easy... Yeah, this is a pretty easy, easy choice. But I do have a question. Now, this is obviously a little bit... maybe a little bit difficult to quantify because... For me specifically, I count in the base game, obviously this is pretty obvious, you know, this is very, very clear and I don't need clarification on this, but what constitutes a ranged kill in this mod? Because obviously it's going to be bows, crossbows, guns, throwing weapons, right? All of that. But do spells, that's the question I have here, do spells count as ranged weapons? Because if they count as ranged weapons, then annoying buzz, which is what this is, as you can see right here, it causes 20% more battle morale penalty with ranged kills. So if spells are ranged, obviously you would expect them to be ranged, right? But what I'm asking is, I'm not sure what they are classified as. They might be classified as something else, they might have no classification whatsoever, and if they don't have any classification, then I will be taking Thunderous Charge instead, because if they are not counted as anything, then melee kills are obviously going to be something that I do tend to do quite often with my little polearm. So I'm going to take Thunderous Charge because I do not know whether spells are counted as ranged, but maybe the person from the modding team will shed some light on that because they've been very, very helpful with all of the information thus far. And yeah, so thank you for that, but yeah, I would just be interested to know exactly whether that is a thing, whether spells are counted as range. Anyway, when you hit an enemy in the head with a polearm, you deal 50% more damage. Let's take it. Why not? We do tend to do that quite often, actually, with our Necromancer's Bonkstaff. Yes, indeed. Ah, my settlement has been besieged. Are you serious? I am outraged at this moment in time. You can tell by my voice very dramatically going, you know, a little bit more monotone. Yes, yes, I know. It's impossible, isn't it? It's so impossible that it would have been... I would be dead if it went more monotone, I think, probably. Right? Fantastic. Anyway, let me see what I can do here. I don't really care if they decide to try and take my fief at this point, because if they do take the fief, they're going to be very damaged. They will be limping around with a very, very low strength army, or at the very least they will have to recover for quite some time. So if they do succeed, then, you know, that's good on them, I suppose. But if they don't, then we're just going to murder them nevertheless. Well, I mean, I suppose it very much depends on how many units they have in their army, because if they do have, you know, I don't know, what couldn't we deal with? Probably an army of 1,000, maybe 1,500, maybe 2,000. I'm actually not entirely sure. Very much depends on a variety of factors, as I've said before. But yeah, it's going to be interesting to find out if they are going to be successful. Anyway, let's just try and tackle all of the catapults, and then I will be heading in. There we go. Let's do this. Okay, so this is going to be one of those times where I'm going to very badly try to stay alive, and we're going to very badly try and get huge amounts of kills with our spells, because that is one of the greatest pleasures one can have in this mod, having a spell be unleashed in such a massive congregation of enemy units, and then seeing, well, I don't know, the results, I guess. Seeing the results of your efforts. That's going to be very, very fun. This is a two-handed / one-handed weapon, isn't it? Oh, that's actually really cool. Didn't know that. Oh, now I'm getting shot. Where am I being shot from, though? In the back? Yeah, I must have gotten shot in the back or something like that. Anyway, let's see where the enemy is. I think around here. Oh, okay. I'm now getting shot from those guys. Ah, yes. The life of a... Oh, wow. Okay, I actually got shot by this guy now as well. Yes, the life of a very lightly armored mage is certainly not something that you would want on a daily basis. Let's just say that. Okay, let me see what I can do here. Oh, this is not going well for them, is it? No, we are absolutely murdering them all. Okay, let me see if I can get Wind of Death off here. That seems to have worked out quite nicely. I did eliminate a lot of my own units, which is not that nice, but okay. Let me see if I can just summon a couple of skeletons in the way here so they can possibly help me out. I'm being shot as soon as I put away my shield. You notice that? That's crazy. Oh no. Hide here, behind the barrels. I'm very brave. Leave me alone, you peasants? Leave me alone, you peasants. You can defeat me very easily, in actual fact. Yes. Fantastic. Okay, well, I guess I will just use my sword, because as soon as I put away my shield, apparently that is a signal to everyone to start firing at me, so let me just keep my shield up. Or out. Nice. There we go. Alright. I think that seems pretty good. I think we are pretty much done. There doesn't seem to be anything else that we really need to worry about. So I'm going to just speed things up real fast. And there we have it. Nice. Alright, so let's take a quick look at the map, because I really do need to figure out whether I need to go and assist my own forces, because let's face it, you know, maybe they do need some assistance or something like that. Anyway, I will take all the prisoners. I'm going to take all the prisoners, in actual fact. There we go. And then we will move on. Okay, 34,000. That's pretty decent. Could be more, of course, if I had taken the other perk, but still. Not too bad. I'm not going to claim the fief because I don't really want to deal with any possible rebellions or anything like that. So, yeah, I think that's perfectly fine. I took a huge amount of prisoners, but apparently they are not... They are not selling for that much, amusingly enough. Very strange. They're only selling for 10,000. Okay. And let's go over here, sell the loot as well. There's another 25,000. Very nice. And now what we need to do is we need to donate troops into the garrison. So let me just very quickly level up all of these fellows. And let's just transfer all of them back in there. Look at that. 501? Wow. That's actually very significant. Yeah. I don't even have enough space. Are you serious? Huh. Yeah, I don't even know what to do with these guys, to be honest. I have way too many units. Okay, I guess I'm just gonna talk to one of my parties, I suppose. I mean, that's probably gonna make the most sense. So let's speak to Alexis, because I think they could probably use a little bit of a reinforcement. Telepathy, thank you. Come to my rescue, telepathy. Thank you. Yes, very nice. Okay, so let us inspect your troops, and I will give you a bunch of these guys. There we go. That looks pretty nice. Ooh, got some Blood Knights. Very good, very good. Oh, look at that. Seems Alexis is doing much better than they were beforehand. Very nice to see. Good. I'm gonna leave them with what they have, because I personally don't, you know, I don't really want to steal stuff. Especially from my own parties. I mean, okay, don't get me wrong. I think stealing stuff, or shall we say borrowing stuff, that's what we should call it. But yes, borrowing units from your own parties, I think that's absolutely fine to do, but you have to do it a little bit carefully. Oh, seems like, are you... Okay. Yeah, Alexis is being attacked by someone. I have no idea where. Over here? Okay, I think there might be something weird happening with my parties, because it seems as though they're all congregating in the same exact place. Maybe it's just because they've all been called to join an army or something like that, and they're all being called at the exact same time or something. I'm not entirely sure, but anyway, it seems like there's a town here that we could potentially take. Do I need to help you, sir? Oh, I think you... Do you need assistance? I actually don't think he needs assistance, so I'm just going to let him do his own thing. Apparently, Alexis got themselves taken prisoner, which I really did not like. That is actually not good at all. Also, there is an... Yes, this is exactly the reason why I was not wanting to take ownership over any of these towns, because you can see exactly why. A rebellion almost immediately. And, amusingly enough, Gorgovich just took this... And now, yes, and now it has sunk into rebellion, and that is not very good. So that's a bit problematic, isn't it? And it does appear as though they were able to capture my town, which I am very saddened by, but as I said before, it's not that big a deal. I should be able to go back there relatively easily and take it back, but that is, I suppose, dependent on if the army is still in the area and how many units they had. I mean, I had a, well, I don't want to say a significant garrison, but I had a pretty decent garrison in there, and they put 169 units in there, so that's actually not bad at all. Should be pretty easy for me to take that back, and I will be taking that back off screen, and then we will move on to the other towns in and around our territory here. Anyway, I thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.